the conditioned response. Now we are coming to one of my favorite theory, which is connectionism. And connectionism is famous for its association with the most famous personality in education psychology. So here is the picture of that person that worked with connectionism. I hope you identify the person now. So connectionism explained that learning is a product of relationship between stimulus and response. Connectionism deals with connecting stimulus and response together. So while there is a stimulus, so there is a response, and therefore the response is connected with a particular stimulus. Without the stimulus, response cannot be understood. It is difficult to predict why a particular response was made unless the stimulus is also known. So connectionism is association between the stimulus and response. What is stimulus? A stimulus is something that causes a reaction. And in response, we would also explain response now. So a response is just a reaction to a stimulus. So response is something that occurs because of a stimulus. And now you can see the name of that famous educational psychologist, Edward Thorndike. And he really worked and really produced some very good laws that are widely used in education and in learning and instruction. So he was the first to propose connectionism, and he explained that all learning can be explained by connection between stimulus and response. So whatever learning is there, whatever learning is happening, it is because there is a stimulus which is then producing a particular response. And our learning should be such that we should be rightly giving the right stimulus to the learner to produce the response that we required. So now let us come to the laws which are given by Thorndike. So some of the laws are laws of readiness, law of exercise, and law of effect. Although other laws are also there, but here in this content we will be focusing on these three laws. So we start with law of readiness. This was given in the year 1913. So as the name represents, readiness. So readiness means preparation for action, which means to get ready. Unless you are ready for something, you cannot do that particular activity. As we can see that in athletics, when the athletes are about to run, so they are given the instruction, get ready, and then they get prepared they take the position to run for that particular aim. So remember, nothing can be achieved or nothing can be produced unless a person is ready for a particular action. In readiness, there are two types of readiness that is required. It can be physical or it can be mental. So both physical and mental readiness are required to prepare for any particular kind of learning. Thorndike further says that learning will be quick and effective if there is readiness. And if the person is not ready, either physically or mentally, or we can also say psychologically, then learning will not be effective. So, and vice versa. So, we can also conclude that learning cannot be forced. If the learner is not prepared, they cannot be forced for learning. and no learning would happen, or the learning will not be effective. Learning will only be effective, or you can say learning would be more effective if there is physical and mental readiness. Sometimes we see in the class that the students are actually present, so they are physically present, they are physically there, but somehow some of them are in deep thoughts, so they are not focusing on the lecture. And when the teacher asks them any question, so then they are not able to answer because the mental readiness was not there. So we require both physical and mental readiness. Again, it's an issue how to maintain the mental readiness for a long time during school hours, uh, which require further research, or we can go with different kind of techniques to have physical and mental readiness during learning. So let's discuss about the educational implication of law of readiness. In order to have the student ready both physically and psychologically, so the teacher should provide clear-cut objective and good reason for learning to the students. The teacher should explain the topic and the objective of the topic so that the student are able to know about the objective of the particular topic, so they get ready for the learning and they find a reason for learning. Without mentioning the objectives or the topic of the class, they will not be able to study. The second is that the course content should be made interesting, because if the course content is not interesting, then the student will lose mental readiness. Again, it can be made interesting by different kind of other activities as well. For example, introduction of a topic. So the teacher, before teaching any other topic, any new topic, should start the topic with the introduction. He should give a background of the topic. Again, this background can be given through different types of techniques. For example, the teacher can start with asking questions, some kind of interesting questions related to the topic. And the teacher can also go with the previous knowledge test. We call it PK test, which means the teacher asks questions from the topic that was previously taught to the students, so that the students get mentally ready for the next topic. This helps in catching the attention of the student, and then they get ready for the next topic. Again, the course content should be according to mental maturity. The content in the curriculum is according to the should be according to the mental level of the students. But also when the teacher is teaching a particular content, he should also keep in mind the mental level, the mental capacity of the learners, and then teach that particular topic. Sometimes we see that the teacher goes very beyond the scope of the topic, which is again not good, because it is beyond the mental capacity of a particular class level, and therefore will not be able to successfully really catch the attention of the student. The teacher can also introduce different kind of activities. If the teacher um, experienced that, or the teacher observed that the class is losing attention because they are not ready, or they have fatigue factor, they are tired, so then different kind of other activities can be introduced in the class to again prepare them